because I had a vicious tongue and a compulsion to argue back. It wasn't until the 20th couple arrived, bringing a little girl to the orphanage, that countless comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. The villainous little princess had been spoiled by flattery since childhood. She'd grown up spoiled and willful. Defy her once, and she'd wipe out your whole family. The villain girl's parents had run out of options, so they planned to adopt an obedient child, hoping the child would gradually change her. Standing nearby, I thought, an obedient child? Fine, that had nothing to do with me. But just as I yawned in boredom, a shrill voice rang out. Mom, Dad, look, that boy yawning is so fat. I instinctively frowned, and immediately snapped back. How am I fat? Are your eyes crusted shut? The villainous little princess stared blankly at me. After 10 full seconds of dead silence, she burst into loud tears. Her face turned red from crying, but she still remembered to give orders. Mommy, he talked back. Wipe out his whole family. But I had to admit, this girl was truly beautiful. Even crying like that, you could still tell her nose was a nose, and her eyes were eyes. But the other children at the orphanage had no time to admire her, because they were scared stiff. They stood motionless with their heads lowered. Then rows of comments appeared before my eyes again. I could recognize most of the words. That boy looks so honest and harmless. Why is his mouth so lethal? That's because she doesn't know how terrifying the villain girl will become. As a child, the villain was merely spoiled. When she grew up, she became completely lawless, because she couldn't have the male lead. She imprisoned him, broke the female lead's legs right in front of him, and chained her up like a dog for him to watch. Fortunately, this boy didn't meet the villain family's adoption standards. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died. That put my mind at ease. After all, honest and harmless did not describe me at all. As long as they didn't adopt me, it didn't matter how awful the villain girl was. The handsome man apologized profusely to Teacher Bai from the orphanage. This girl was spoiled rotten by her grandparents. There is nothing I can do about it. Teacher Bai answered even more apologetically. Not at all. Shi Hao was born this way. I can't do anything about him either. I was the only one standing there foolishly. With my back straight, I solemnly shook my head at the little princess. You can't destroy my family, because I don't have one to begin with. The little princess suddenly stopped crying. She stared at me blankly and gave a shuddering hiccup. Her little face suddenly flushed red. Then she shouted at me fiercely. How is that possible? Don't you have a mom and dad? I tilted my head and looked at her in confusion. Is that a tumor where your head should be? Do you not even know where you are? The little princess froze. Only then did she remember she was in an orphanage. She huffed angrily, not knowing what to say. Her mouth opened, then closed again. Her whole face turned red. Her favorite threats were completely useless against me. She started to panic. Turning around, she threw herself at the handsome man, pounding his thigh with her little fist. She sobbed in gasps, with tears and snot smeared all over her face. Daddy, make him go away. I don't like him. I don't want to see him. A flicker of exhaustion crossed the handsome man's face. Teacher Bai immediately came over and took my hand. She apologized. Mr. Liu, I'm sorry. I'll take Hao back right away. But just as the handsome man tried to stop her, Teacher Bai looked at me and said sternly, Shi Hao, apologize to your sister. Then we'll go back. Teacher Bai was very kind to me. Several adoptive families had sent me back. She never blamed me. I didn't want to make things difficult for her. So, I reluctantly walked over to the little princess. She watched me warily, clinging tightly to the beautiful lady's leg. I stood straight in front of her, straightening my faded, overwashed t-shirt. Then I quietly said, I'm sorry, big sister. The little princess raised her chin and gave a soft huff. That arrogant look returned to her face. Then the argumentative instincts in my bones flared up again. I held it in and held it in, but I couldn't stop myself. So I added, what did I say that hurt you? Please tell me. I'd like to say it again. The little princess's eyes slowly widened. She stared at me in disbelief. The longer she looked, the more wrong she appeared. The next second, her little brows whereupon and her nose reddened. She buried her face against the handsome man's thigh and burst into tears again. Mumbling through her sobs, she cried, Daddy, he's bullying me. Your baby is being bullied. I instinctively argued back again. I didn't bully you. I just wasn't very nice to you. That's all. That only made her cry louder. The noise irritated me. I covered my ears and turned away. Teacher Bai hurriedly pulled me aside, shooting me a frustrated glare. Can't you just hold your tongue? Go back to your room. I shrugged and started to head back on my own. Suddenly, the beautiful lady, who had been silent all along, stopped me. Your name is Shi Hao, right? Wait a moment. She exchanged a glance with the handsome man, then smiled at Teacher Bai and said, Teacher Bai, we've decided. We want him. The little princess abruptly stopped crying. She looked up, staring at her parents in shock. Even Teacher Bai tried to persuade them. Would you like to think it over again? The little princess doesn't seem to like Shi Hao. The handsome man interrupted Teacher Bai. At this point, we want to try an unconventional approach. Then the beautiful lady crouched in front of me and whispered in my ear, How, would you like to live with us? But I didn't want to live with the villain girl. Just as I was about to object, rows of comments appeared before my eyes again. Wait, wasn't the villain girl's family supposed to adopt the obedient male lead? This boy may look sweet and adorable, but he isn't the male lead. The villain girl will kill him soon enough. The male lead is among those children. He's already scared out of his wits. I glanced at the children standing nearby. There were several boys about my age, all with their heads down, barely daring to breathe. But I didn't know which one was the female lead. Otherwise, I definitely would have pushed her forward. The comments kept scrolling. Though the villain girl's family has nothing but money, living beside the villain means you may get the money, but won't live to spend it. Exactly. The villain's family gives each child a trust fund upon adulthood, worth 1 billion, but only if they survive to 18. Wait, such important information, and you're only telling me now. I immediately grabbed the beautiful lady's hand with my chubby little hand and nodded firmly. Yes, Mom, I want to. The little princess suddenly pointed at me and shrieked, Shut up, she's my mom, not yours. Whoever gives me 1 billion is my mom. A retort was already on the tip of my tongue, but I forcibly swallowed it. The handsome man saw me holding back and said, somewhat displeased, Shi Hao, we're adopting you because we want you to be yourself without holding back. The beautiful lady encouraged me with a gentle look. Then I suddenly understood. The beautiful lady wanted me to fight fire with fire and keep the little princess in check. That's easy. Whoever pays 1 billion gets the final say. I immediately told the little princess in all seriousness, No, big sister, your mom adopted me, so she's my mom now too. The little princess's face turned red with anger again. She plopped down on the floor, rolling around as she wailed. What I say goes. I don't care. I don't want you in my house. I frowned, looking at her in utter confusion as I asked, Big sister, are you Aristotle's little sister or something? The little princess suddenly fell silent. Her gaze held the blank clarity of pure stupidity. That blank expression made me realize that my current education level had completely surpassed hers. I shook my head regretfully. God scattered wisdom across the world, but held an umbrella over you, big sister. The little princess still did not seem to understand. Her eyes wide, she stammered. You, what do you mean? I tugged on the beautiful lady's sleeve. Mom, you should at least make big sister study a little. We can't have an illiterate in this family. This time, the little princess finally understood. Her little face turned bright red. Her little mouth trembled into a pout, and she burst into tears again. The beautiful lady looked at her and sighed in frustrated disappointment. Comments flew across my vision. Things are finally looking up for the villain girl. She finally got put in her place. The little boy licked his lips, realizing he had been adopted. But the villain's family did not adopt the male lead. How is the villain supposed to fall for him later? That's for the best, without the villain interfering. A-Cheng and the female lead can head straight for their sweet ending. Keep dreaming. The more they miss each other now, the more, when they meet again later, the villain girl will become even more obsessively possessive and unstable. A-Cheng. In my mind, an image of a fair-skinned boy appeared. So that boy was the male lead. But I was already in a car leaving the orphanage. Ignoring the little princess's tantrum, my adoptive parents took me away that very day to keep the little princess and me from fighting in the car. My adoptive father and I rode in a separate car. On the way home, I learned the little princess's name. Her name was Liu Ruyan. She was 6, only a few months older than me, but her destructive power was astounding. At home, she was a tiny tyrant. Any servant who dared to discipline her, defy her, or upset her in the slightest would be fired that very night amid her screaming and tears, and driven away. As a result, every servant and housekeeper in the Liu family walked on eggshells, terrified of upsetting her. The car gradually entered an upscale, luxurious neighborhood. Lush trees surrounded gently babbling streams. It looked like where a prince would live in a fairy tale. I pressed myself against the car window, curiously taking in the view outside. The car stopped before a magnificent, glittering mansion. I followed my adoptive father inside. I gaped at the palace-like house. Liu Ruyan had arrived before me. When she saw me, she gave a cold snort, then haughtily turned away. In the living room, she loudly ordered the housekeeper to give her a pony ride. I thought they kept horses at home, and stared without blinking, waiting for a horse to appear. Then a very tall woman, wearing a black uniform, ran out. She dropped to her hands and knees before Liu Ruyan. "Miss, your horse is ready." My adoptive father's face darkened. Suppressing his anger, he said, "Liu Ruyan, how old are you now? You are not allowed to play pony rides with the housekeeper anymore." Liu Ruyan started shrieking again. "I don't care. I want to play. I want to play. I want to ride my horse up the stairs too." My adoptive father's mouth twitched. He struggled to remain composed, but I could feel his anger ready to explode. Still on all fours, the housekeeper smiled as she tried to smooth things over. "Sir, Miss is young and playful. It's fine. I'll play with her for a while." My adoptive father sighed. If you keep indulging her like this, you'll ruin her." The housekeeper was about to speak, but Liu Ruyan had already climbed onto her slender back. Go. Giddy up. Faster." The housekeeper immediately forced on a broad smile and crawled around the living room with Liu Ruyan on her back. As she passed me, Liu Ruyan said smugly, "You little country mutt. You've never had a pony ride, have you? Pony rides are so much fun." I pursed my lips and immediately replied, "It doesn't look that fun. The last time I saw people ride like that was on television. Most of those riders ended up dying horribly." Liu Ruyan swayed to one side and hurriedly jumped off the housekeeper's back. Her little face burned red with rage. She pointed at me and shrieked, "You little mutt. How dare you curse this young lady?" Behind Liu Ruyan, the housekeeper was still on all fours. Her eyes went round as she looked at me, and she frantically shook her head at me. I copied her and shook my head hard, then said with complete seriousness, "I didn't. Big sister, I was just educating you. An empty head isn't a problem. Just fill it up. The important thing is not to let water get in. Big sister, shake your head. See if you can hear the ocean." The housekeeper drew in a sharp breath. She closed her eyes as if resigned to her fate, bracing herself for the coming storm. Sure enough, Liu Ruyan shook with fury. Her little face scrunched up, and she shouted, "You little mutt. Just you wait. I'll tear your family apart and leave no one alive." I sighed and looked at her sympathetically. "I'm afraid you can't, big sister. Is your cerebellum underdeveloped? Or did your brain never develop at all? Did you forget again? My family is your family now. If you're going to destroy this family and leave no one alive, did you ask Dad first?" I had twisted her logic into knots. She could not find a reply for a long while. Then, red-faced, she turned and ran to my adoptive father. She grabbed the hem of his shirt and threw a tantrum. "Dad, he dared to defy me. I don't want him. Send him back." My adoptive father ignored her completely. Instead, he smiled, took my hand and said, How, play in the living room for a while. Your mom will change clothes, then show you around." I was so touched I nearly cried. It was the first time an adult had not criticized me for being too aggressive. I tried my best to behave sweetly. "Okay, I'll wait in the living room." Liu Ruyan still refused to give up, clutching my adoptive father's clothes. She looked up at him pleadingly. With a helpless sigh, my adoptive father pried open her little hands. Then he said, word by word, "Liu Ruyan, from now on, how is your little brother? Everything you have, he will have too." Liu Ruyan looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. She stood there, utterly dejected. My adoptive father's words firmly established my place in the Liu family. They also warmed my heart. After that, I ignored Liu Ruyan. I wandered around the living room by myself. The Liu family's living room was enormous. It felt bigger than the entire orphanage. Curiously, I touched this and looked at that, unable to believe this would be my home from now on. Suddenly, a childish taunt came from behind me. "HMPH, you little country mutt. You look so tacky, and you have no class." Well. Once Liu Ruyan realized she couldn't drive me away, she started attacking me instead. Without even turning around, I said, "At least I've got enough dirt to bear you." I got under her skin again. She stomped up to me. Glaring fiercely, she demanded, "You're so arrogant. Is it because Mom and Dad have your back?" I thought about it, then shook my head. "No. I was born this way." "Then you're so arrogant. Because the Animal Protection Society protects you. Liu Ruyan froze for 2 seconds. Before she got it, her trembling finger pointed at me. She shrieked, completely losing it. You're a boy with such a nasty mouth. Watch out, or no woman will marry you when you grow up. I curled my lip, then calmly replied, not necessarily. But big sister, you're so wonderful. When you grow up, plenty of elderly people will be happy to look after you. Liu Ruyan stared at me, dumbfounded. She couldn't say a word. The comments flooded in with praise. Way to shut her down, wild boy. That little villain needs someone to put her in her place. Little brother, lend this old man your mouth. Then I won't lose arguments with my wife anymore. That little mouth is venomous. For the first time on the villain girl's face, I'm seeing an expression of existential doubt. Am I the only one worried the villain girl will turn over a new leaf? Won't she force the male lead to love her when she meets him later? I really ship those two. The harder little brother roast her now, the more likely the villain girl is when she meets our sweet male lead. To fall in love at first sight. That's right. Little brother, let her have it. We're behind you. But I didn't care what happened between Liu Ruyan and the male lead. What mattered was making it to adulthood in the Liu family. Of course, if I could also help my adoptive father and adoptive mother solve a major worry, I'd be more than happy to. Just then, my adoptive mother came downstairs. She waved me over. Beaming, I ran to her. After my adoptive mother showed me around the house, dinner was ready too. My adoptive father had left to handle an emergency. At home, there were only my adoptive mother and me, along with Liu Ruyan. The housekeeper set the table with an exquisite dinner. Then she came to my side. She served me generous portions. Smiling warmly, she said, "Young master, tell me what you like, and I'll make it more often." I'd never seen such exquisite food. I couldn't resist it at all. I sweetly said to the housekeeper, "Thank you, Sister Xiaoya." Then I immediately buried my face in my plate and wolfed it down. To my surprise, the housekeeper wiped the corner of her eye. She murmured emotionally, "He actually says thank you. What a good child." As I kept chewing, I wondered just how rude Liu Ruyan had to be. I'd only said thank you, and it nearly brought the housekeeper to tears. Liu Ruyan, sitting across from me, seemed to be competing with me. She took a bite from her plate and said in a voice as soft as a mosquito's buzz, "Dinner is delicious tonight." "Thank you, Sister Xiaoya." The housekeeper froze on the spot. Only when my adoptive mother said with a faint smile, "Xiaoya, sit down and eat," did the housekeeper come back to her senses. Stiffly, she pulled out a chair and sat down. But Liu Ruyan's manners didn't last long. I was enjoying my meal when she suddenly snorted at me rudely. "Country bumpkin, stop stuffing your face. Look at you. You're fat as a pig." But I didn't even lift my head from my plate. I said through my stuffed cheeks, "How am I fat? My body just absorbs nutrients well." "Big sister, you should eat less salt. Big sister, eat less salt. You've got way too much free time." Liu Ruyan got shut down by me again. She stared at me with wide eyes. She couldn't understand why, whenever she said something, I always had a comeback. Still unwilling to concede, she took another shot at me. "You're fat and dark-skinned. You don't look like a Liu family child at all." At last, I lifted my head from my plate. I sat up straight and said, "How don't I? I'm just not as superficial as you, big sister." After I said that, Liu Ruyan furrowed her brow in confusion. I knew it. She didn't even understand a sophisticated word like superficial. So I kindly picked up my chopsticks and placed a piece of fish on her plate. "Big sister, eat more fish. It might help your brain." Only then did Liu Ruyan understand. Her face instantly turned beet red. "You're calling me stupid again." I comforted her. "It's all right, big sister. Fish can make up for it. It's just that." She glared at me. "Just what?" I smiled. "Given the gap between you and me, you might need to eat a whole whales to make up for it." Liu Ruyan stared at me blankly. I completely shattered her spirit. The comments were losing it. This little brother's mouth is brutal. He completely stunned the villain girl. At an age when she can't control anything, the villain girl has learned to control her emotions. I have to say, Mom and Dad chose the right unorthodox method. It's only been half a day, and the villain girl's eyes already look much clearer. Hift. A quiet sound came from beside me. I turned around and was surprised to see my adoptive mother looking down, her shoulders shaking. She looked up, struggling to suppress her smile as she said, "Seeing you to get along so well puts my mind at ease." My adoptive mother was a smart woman. She ran a large company, but she deeply misunderstood my relationship with Liu Ruyan. She always thought that us bickering whenever we met was a sign that we were close. Ever since I came to the Liu family, 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. Over those 10 years, I shot up into a tall, straight-backed young man, a head taller than her. But the only thing that hadn't changed was my mouth. It was still as vicious as ever. And Liu Ruyan had blossomed into a graceful young woman. Every boy at school was blinded by her beautiful face. They would often wait in the cold wind for an hour, just to catch a glimpse of her. I really didn't get it. She had changed a lot. She was no longer the overbearing, spoiled little demon she had been as a child. Maybe because I put her down hard as a child, she couldn't out-act me, or outperform me in school. Over time, she reigned in all her arrogance, and poured all her energy into finding ways to beat me. Her grades kept improving. She was polite and courteous to everyone, always exceptionally respectful, except for me, of course. She still had no manners around me, though at some point, she stopped calling me a country bumpkin. But she never called me little brother, either. She was such a contradiction. When we entered high school, Liu Ruyan and I were still in the same class, but we barely spoke at school. I was sharp-tongued and solitary, and preferred being alone. Still, I was surprisingly popular. Still, admirers buzzed around me like flies and bees. On the first day of the second semester of junior year, I styled my hair with the wax my adoptive father had given me. I was also at that age when looks started to matter, so I styled my hair now and then. The moment I came downstairs, I locked eyes with Liu Ruyan. Her lips twitched as she asked, honestly asking, "Do you use hair gel so you do not have to wash your hair?" After spending so much time around me, she had become quite skilled at sarcasm too. But I was not intimidated at all. The moment I opened my mouth, I would show her why the master was still the master. I flicked my bangs and smiled at her. "No. What? Are you proud of helping the country save fabric?" Her brow tightened almost imperceptibly. She was not as explosive as she had been as a child. She no longer cried when she could not win an argument. She narrowed her eyes at me, forcing out the words through clenched teeth. "Do you wear shorts to hide your shortcomings?" I walked to the entryway and spoke as I put on my shoes. "Hiding my shortcomings is one thing. Just make sure your future kid does not fill your chest and call you dad." With that, I opened the door and left. Sister Xiaoyao was already waiting for us in the car. Liu Ruyan followed after me, sitting helplessly behind my back. "Shi Hao, I cannot even say a couple of things to you." I did not look back, just dismissing her with, "Do not just stand there looking like an airport, waiting for a plane to land." She suddenly fell silent. I turned back to look at her. She stood where she was, frowning at me, her face burning red. The look in Liu Ruyan's eyes then was practically murderous. But honestly, she had a pretty great figure. At home, I would sometimes see her running around at home in braless pajamas, her chest bouncing with surprising weight. But I had the important duty of keeping her from getting too full of herself. It was my duty to keep her arrogance in check. Once we got to the classroom, I headed for my seat in the last row. Liu Ruyan sat directly in front of me. There were only 2 empty seats in the whole class, and Liu Ruyan had used her money to claim both for us. I had just set down my backpack when the homeroom teacher walked in and tapped the blackboard. "We have to transfer students today. Everyone, give them a warm welcome." I looked up. A tall girl stood at the podium. Her beauty was striking. Her bright, flirtatious eyes eagerly swept across the classroom. Beside her stood a boy who looked somewhat familiar. He had short blonde hair and a refined, scholarly air. As I was wondering where I had seen him before, the long absent comments suddenly flooded my vision. "The heroine is so beautiful. The male lead is so handsome. I really want to see the villain girl's expression right now. Has she fallen for our male lead on the spot? She cannot take her eyes off the male lead, waiting for the love triangle showdown." So the male and female leads had arrived. I looked at Liu Ruyan in the middle of the classroom. She was slumped over her desk, without even lifting her head. I remembered that in the original story, the heroine transferred here and volunteered to sit beside the male lead. The villain girl objected, and the two nearly came to blows. The male lead had protected the heroine when they were children. When she grew up, she recognized him at once and came running over like a puppy wagging its tail. But look, our male lead has been staring at that little villain girl. At the start of the original story, A-Cheng liked his adoptive sister. He only fell for the heroine later, after she relentlessly pursued him. Now this is going to be interesting. I leaned back in my chair, folded my arms, and sized up the boy at the podium. It had been 10 years. I wondered whether he still remembered me. As if he sensed my gaze, he suddenly turned his head. His gaze met mine. The instant our gazes locked, he hastily looked away. The corner of my mouth slowly lifted. Looks like he has not forgotten me. Just then, a burning gaze pinned me in place. I turned my head slightly and saw the heroine, Shen Bingning, staring straight at me. It felt strange, but I stared right back without backing down. Her face flushed. Then, for no reason at all, she gave me a flirtatious wink. I quickly looked away, goosebumps rising all over me. Why did this girl have no sense of boundaries? After they finished introducing themselves, the homeroom teacher told them to find seats, then left the room. The only available seats were beside Liu Ruyan and me. Ito Makoto headed straight for Liu Ruyan. He stopped in front of her and asked with a smile, "Classmate, may I sit beside you?" Liu Ruyan was lost in thought. She seemed not to hear him and did not even look up. Ito Makoto's smile froze. He lightly tapped on Liu Ruyan's desk. Only then did Liu Ruyan raise her head. She asked politely but distantly, "What do you need?" Ito Makoto smiled and pointed the seat beside her. "May I sit beside you?" Liu Ruyan hesitated, then suddenly glanced back at me. I rolled my eyes at her. Her face darkened as she turned away. She was just about to agree to Ito Makoto's request when Shen Bingning, who had been at the podium, walked past Ito Makoto with a radiant smile. Ito Makoto thought Shen Bingning was coming over to him. Frowning, he took a deep breath and told her, "Sorry, Miss Shen, I cannot sit with you." Shen Bingning stopped short. She looked at Ito Makoto with a strange expression. "Are you all right? Who said I wanted to sit with you?" Ito Makoto froze, his face turning ashen, then pale. He shot back, "You do not want to sit with me." Shen Bingning muttered, "What is wrong with him?" Then she brushed past him and stopped in front of me. She smiled with effortless, seductive charm. She ignored everything around her. Her eyes were locked on me, like I was a prime cut of meat. The comments flooded the screen with question marks. What the hell? The heroine is not fighting the villain girl over the male lead. Do not panic, commenter above. The heroine has a complicated family situation. She is the illegitimate daughter of a wealthy family. She survived by pretending to be fragile. She cannot resist a boy as innocent and kind. As the male lead, she will be drawn to him sooner or later. Comments. This better be true. Just as Shen Bingning was about to pull out the chair and sit down, Liu Ruyan suddenly stood up. She vaulted over the desk beside mine into the back row. Before she had even found her balance, she dropped into the seat beside me. Shen Bingning wore upon her brows as she looked at the person who had suddenly appeared before her. Liu Ruyan took a deep breath and said, "He is my little brother. I have to look after him. Go sit up front." Shen Bingning suddenly looked shy. She fidgeted as she said, "So, you are my sister-in-law. Your brother is so handsome. He is exactly my type. Why not give us your blessing?" That stunned both Liu Ruyan and me. I studied Shen Bingning in confusion, wondering what had gotten into her. Liu Ruyan's carefully maintained ladle-like image instantly shattered. She jumped to her feet, pointed at Shen Bingning, and shouted, "What is wrong with you? Who is your sister-in-law?" After snapping at Shen Bingning, she turned and snapped at me too. "Shi Hao, have you not washed your socks lately? Where did you pick up this fly?" I suddenly had no idea how to respond. This was the first time Liu Ruyan had left me speechless. The comments were already a complete mess. The plot was supposed to be the heroine and villain fighting over the male lead. How did it turn into them fighting over this nobody? This nobody already stole the male lead spot as the wealthy family's adopted son. Why are both the heroine and villain fighting over him now too? Could it be that the male lead is not one specific person, but that the villain's brother automatically becomes the male lead? Then the original male lead is truly miserable. Not only did he lose his status as the wealthy family's adopted son, he lost his romantic destiny too. He even lost his romantic destiny. It is all this nobody's fault. Why did he have to show off in the first place? That thief who stole someone else's destiny. Exactly. Our male lead is so innocent and kind. He clearly did nothing wrong. I sneered inwardly. I did not know whether the commenter's theory was right. But if Ito Makoto had truly done nothing wrong, why did he not dare meet my eyes? Ito Makoto stared at the scene before him in disbelief, his fists tightly clenched. His face turned crimson with embarrassment. Seeing me stay silent, Liu Ruyan smacked me on the head. She did not hit hard, just enough to snap me out of it. "Shi Hao, you usually never stop talking. Why are you mute now?" I was just about to speak when Shen Bingning said in all seriousness, "Sister-in-law, I know it is a little presumptuous to call you that already, but what I feel for Hao Hao is real love. If you are worried, I can date your brother right in front of you." Liu Ruyan's face instantly darkened like ink. She gritted her teeth and said, "You want to pursue him? Right in front of me?" Shen Bingning blinked and nodded emphatically. "Yes, sister-in-law. You can supervise the whole thing." Liu Ruyan took a deep breath. After several seconds of silence, she suddenly turned and mocked me. "Well, look at you, Shi Hao. This woman wants to pursue you. Did you hear that? Someone daring to pursue me was truly unusual. Since childhood, every girl who spoke more than sentences to me kept far away from me afterward, except Liu Ruyan. She had no way to avoid me." That familiar urge to strike back filled my chest again. I did not hold back with Shen Bingning at all. I immediately asked, "Why are you pursuing me? It is not like I have dog food in my hands." But Shen Bingning did not feel offended in the slightest. Instead, her eyes widened excitedly. "True, you do not have dog food, but do you think I am like a puppy? I would gladly be your puppy. If you agree to be with me, I would give you my life." Liu Ruyan and I were both dumbstruck. Oh no, I had met my match. I had to hold steady. I kept taking sarcastic digs at her. "Why not say you will give me all your money? You only offer things nobody wants." Shen Bingning shook her head sincerely. "True, my life is worthless, but my feelings for you cannot be measured in money." I was instantly stunned. Guys, how am I supposed to answer that? Damn, even I can get backed into a corner. Thankfully, the class bell finally rang then. It saved me. While Liu Ruyan was off guard, Shen Bingning shoved her aside. Then she plopped down beside me. She gave Liu Ruyan a sweet smile. "Thank you, sister-in-law." Liu Ruyan finally lost her temper. She growled in a low voice. "Shut up. I am not his sister." Shen Bingning froze for only a second. Then she put on an expression as if facing a formidable enemy. She turned, leaned close, and whispered to me, "Does she have a bad temper? She seems to get angry at the drop of a hat. My mom always says, an emotionally unstable woman will squander the family fortune." Every single word reached Liu Ruyan's ears. "You two-faced little flirt. What did you say?" she hissed through clenched teeth. Just then, the teacher walked into the classroom. Liu Ruyan shot Shen Bingning a vicious glare. Then she was forced back to her original seat. Shen Bingning shrank behind me. She still did not forget to fan the flames. How? Look how scary she is." "I am scared." The comments were freaking dumbfounded. "Wait, the heroine is such a blatant pick-me. You can smell it through the screen. The villain girl was made for this adopted sibling romance. She is genuinely panicking. All that hard-won poise has gone out the window again. Her. I am rooting for the heroine, because I cannot resist that face. Do I really have to choose? I will gladly take the pick-me heroine, and I will gladly take the proud, prickly villainess too. Honestly, I wanted to take them both too, but I did not dare, because Liu Ruyan was staring at me like a ghost." During class, Shen Bingning said she had not brought her book. She insisted on sharing mine. She brought her movie star face incredibly close to mine. She carried a faint fragrance, but I was a hot-blooded, 16-year-old real man. How could I resist that temptation? Before I knew it, I was staring blankly at her profile. Just then, the teacher stepped out. She told us to study on our own. Shen Bingning suddenly gave a quiet laugh. "Shi Hao, you cannot hide the way you look at someone you like." I instantly snapped out of it. My mouth moved before my brain caught up. "But if you like 2 or more people, you had better hide it." Shen Bingning was not angry at all. She looked at me with a beaming smile. "True, so, who do you like?" I snorted. "Too many to count. Chairman Mao, Benjamin, Franklin, and Jean Monash." But to my surprise, she understood. "True, I like them too." I opened my mouth, but had no idea what to say. My kind of attack only worked on illiterates like Liu Ruyan. Frustration shot straight to my head. It made my neck flush hot and red. Shen Bingning suddenly stuck her face right in front of mine. "Little Hao, your neck is so red. You are so cute." I shoved her head away. "Watch what you say. I might get diabetes from all that sweetness." She kept smiling sweetly. She nodded and said, "Then I will not say it. But sooner or later, I will swallow you whole." Then Liu Ruyan suddenly turned around. A vein throbbed on her forehead. She fixed us with a dark, chilling stare. Then she said sarcastically, "You two are getting along quite well. Should I tell Dad to start saving up your bride price already?" I was truly afraid she would tattletale to our adoptive parents. After all, I was usually the one making fun of the boys chasing her. This was the first time. She finally had something on me. I quickly declared with righteous conviction. She cannot crack a tough nut like me. After hearing that, Liu Ruyan cocked a smug eyebrow at Shen Bingning. Shen Bingning was not discouraged at all. Instead, she whispered in my ear, "A woman who tattles is no prize either." The smug smile at Liu Ruyan's lips instantly froze. She reached for Shen Bingning's hair. "You scheming little pick-me. What are you whispering now?" At that moment, Ito Makoto suddenly turned around with a frown. Then he spoke with a bright smile. "Shi Hao, I really envy you. So many girls like you. Is it because your hairstyle is so trendy? Unlike me, I only ever focus on studying. I do not care about superficial things at all." The three of us all turned to look at him. That pick-me stench was overwhelming. Even Liu Ruyan's eyes flashed with disgust. I was silent for a moment. I had planned to observe him a little longer, but he insisted on walking right into it. So I would not hold back. I used the look I had picked up over years in old money circles, sizing him up from head to toe. Then I said, "You really do not need to care about that. You are already an expert at putting on airs." He froze for a moment, but his fake smile quickly returned. "Yes, I have always taken my studies seriously. You style your hair every day. Does the teacher not say anything?" I nearly burst out laughing. I fought to suppress my smile, stared straight at her, and said, "No. Our school is very open-minded. You look a little pale, though. Want me to give you 2 slaps to boost your hemoglobin?" A flick of smug satisfaction crossed Ito Makoto's eyes, but he still gritted his teeth and said, "Brother Shi Hao, you are so hostile." I did not even raise an eyelid. "Brother Ito, your tone is absolutely disgusting." Ito Makoto gave Liu Ruyan and Shen Bingning a wounded look. One watched me as if she were enjoying a show, while the other gazed at me with starry eyes. Neither of them cared about him at all. A trace of resentment crossed Ito Makoto's face. He kept yapping. "Shi Hao, I only wanted to ask your advice on how to make so many girls like you. Nobody likes me." When he said that last part, he deliberately said it to Liu Ruyan. His tone practically had a label plastered across his forehead. "I am such a good, well-behaved boy. I have never dated anyone." I sneered and shot back. "Is it not perfectly normal that nobody likes you? Do you really have so little self-awareness that you have to ask?" My retort instantly drained the color from his face. He was left speechless, and no one stepped in to smooth things over for him. Liu Ruyan did not help because she was mean by nature. She loved watching me tear people down, whether they were men or women. Though she had acted like such a lady these past few years, deep down, she was dark as hell. As for Shen Bingning, I had no idea what was wrong with her. It was like she had been put under a spell. At that point, only a handful of comments sympathized with Ito Makoto. "This has to be the most miserable male lead in web novel history. Get that extra Shi Hao out of here. Make way for our little Makoto. The male lead is so pitiful. Shi Hao is freaking targeting him. His tongue is so vicious. Why does he not go jump in a river?" The male and female leads still have a chance. The male lead protected the heroine when they were children. The heroine gave him a necklace. Our heroine must have mistaken him for someone else. Once the male lead takes out that necklace, the heroine will kick Shi Hao to the curb. I looked at those comments. They used to praise me for my sharp tongue, and now they wanted me to jump in a river. What a cold, fickle world. As soon as class ended, Liu Ruyan went to the homeroom teacher. She must have used her money magic again. The homeroom teacher swapped Liu Ruyan and Shen Bingning seats. Her mood improved instantly. She even felt like bickering with me. "Oh, I never noticed your eyebrows look like caterpillars, but they are pretty cute." I was reading. Hearing that, I slowly raised my head. "I noticed a long time ago. Your hairline looks like a shoreline at low tide. It is practically bald." But instead of getting angry, she smiled. "You have been watching me that closely?" As she smiled, the corners of her eyes lifted slightly. A suggestive smile bloomed across that familiar face. My heart skipped a beat. A strange feeling filled my chest. I suddenly panicked a little, so I hurriedly found an excuse to argue back. "Your huge forehead is just too reflective, okay?" She wanted to say something, but hesitated. Her gaze swept over Shen Bingning's figure in front of us, then quickly returned to me. She whispered, "You are too cute." You made my heart flutter. I was about to deny it on instinct, when I suddenly realized what she had said. I stared at her, mouth open and eyes wide. She lowered her head. A blush quickly crept from her neck to the tips of her ears. Just like when we were kids. She turned red as a beet. The afternoon sun skimmed over her flushed ears, tracing them with a fuzzy golden rim. For a moment, I forgot how to speak. I quickly buried my face in my book. Well, Liu Ruyan, I may never have seen you as my sister, but you never saw me as your little brother either. Thankfully, she did not say another word. The two of us stayed silent. At last, we made it through to the end of the school day. She packed her bag before I did, and left the classroom. I slowly finished packing up, then got ready to leave. Suddenly, a pair of small hands grabbed my wrist from behind. I turned around. Shen Bingning asked shyly, "Shi Hao, are you free to come out tonight?" A sinister glare stabbed into me, making me feel like needles were pricking my back. Every hair on my body stood on end. I immediately shook off Shen Bingning's hand and refused. "No need. I have a toilet at home." She smiled. "You're so funny. Then if I miss you tonight, can I call you?" That was something I could not refuse at all. "Sure. Industrial and Commercial Bank, or China Construction Bank." Shen Bingning was remarkably patient. She stepped closer. Her stunning face suddenly filled my vision. Her warm breath brushed my ear. In a seductive whisper, she said, "I mean call you. We can talk about something private." After saying that, she blew softly against my neck. A shiver ran through my whole body. I abruptly pushed her away and shouted, "No, thanks. I am not interested in your depth." The classroom fell so silent, we could hear cicadas outside. Then a voice, so dark it practically dripped with gloom, broke the dead silence. "Liu Hao, why are you not going home?" I whipped around. Liu Ruyan stood in the classroom doorway. One hand gripped the doorframe, which looked ready to warp beneath her fingers. I walked toward her, pretending to be calm. "Come on, let us go home." Liu Ruyan silently warned Shen Bingning with her eyes. Shen Bingning smiled and waved at me. "See you tomorrow, Hao." Then, as if praying, she said to Liu Ruyan, "Please call in sick tomorrow." On the way home, Liu Ruyan spent the whole drive bad-mouthing Shen Bingning. "Stay away from her. She is such a manipulative little fake. She is getting close to you for all the wrong reasons." It was not like I was defending Shen Bingning. I just instinctively argued with Liu Ruyan. How are her intentions bad? She is just lusting after my good looks. Liu Ruyan's eyes widened, and her voice rose without her noticing. "Be careful not to get fooled. Then you will come crying to beg me to save you." I pursed my lips, a little annoyed as I said, "I would never beg you. That would be humiliating." Out of options, Liu Ruyan said angrily, "Mom said no dating before college." I nodded. "I was not planning to date now either. I will date once I am in college." "Liu Hao, are you incapable of listening to reason? If you start dating, what about me?" The air inside the car froze. Through the rearview mirror, the housekeeper frantically checked on the back seat. Liu Ruyan's face burned red. She turned to look out the window. I felt awkward too, and turned toward the window on my side. The atmosphere became painfully awkward. The housekeeper gave two soft coughs, then pointed outside and said excitedly, "Young master, young miss, look. That tree outside is really huge." Liu Ruyan and I felt even quieter. When we got home, after dinner, Liu Ruyan and I each went back to our rooms to study. The moment I stepped onto the stairs, Liu Ruyan moved sideways to block my path. Her delicate brows were tightly furrowed, and her voice was hard. "You are not allowed to call Shen Bingning tonight. I will be watching you." I shot her a disdainful look. "Liu Ruyan, are you insane?" Her voice carried a hint of anger. "If I were not crazy, I would not even talk to you." "Not bad, Liu Ruyan. You are getting sharper." I immediately changed my expression, pouting like I had been wronged. "Why are you being so mean? Why not go guard the front gate instead? You can fill in for Big Yellow." "Liu Hao." She practically ground out my name through clenched teeth. I nudged past her with my shoulder and went straight upstairs. That night, Liu Ruyan was like a little wildcat. At first, she knocked on my door every 10 minutes, holding up an exercise book, asking unbelievably stupid math questions. At first, she was dressed properly. After a while, she had changed into a light nightgown with a much more daring neckline. A little later, she ran in with her bare legs on display. I grabbed a test prep book and threw it at her. "Liu Ruyan, do you not know how to get dressed?" She lightly sidestepped it, casually tossing back her hair as she did. She put one foot on the chair, striking a pose that showed off her legs even more. She was forcing the flirtation with zero subtlety. "Look at you. Why are you so worked up?" "I was about to take a shower, so I stopped by to see you on the way." I jumped up and pushed her straight out the door. When a beast starts sending you signals, how am I supposed to stay calm? After shutting her outside, I realized I was getting hard. Thanks to Liu Ruyan, She filled my dreams that night. That perfect, sharp-tongued face of hers. The next day, I arrived at school with deep dark circles under my eyes. The moment Shen Bingning saw me, she came over. How? Did you miss me that much last night? You got so much thinner overnight. I was in a terrible mood. So my tongue was even sharper. Even skinny. I am not as skinny as you. You would barely weigh a pound, box included. She pretended to cough up blood, then looked at the empty seat beside me, and asked half-jokingly, Liu Ruyan is not here. Did my prayer actually work? The moment I heard that name, my whole body felt strangely light. I quickly shook my head to get her out of my mind. I do not know. Liu Ruyan and I had just arrived at school that morning. When she received a text, she glanced at her phone. Her expression changed slightly, and she headed for the lab. At that moment, Shen Bingning happened to check her phone too. Her brows drew together slightly. After a pause, she said, I need to step out. The moment she left, our homeroom teacher entered the classroom. After scanning the room, she told me to bring back the 3 absent students near me. She had an announcement to make. I called Liu Ruyan, but she actually hung up on me. I reluctantly left the classroom and could only start searching in the direction Liu Ruyan had gone. When I reached the laboratory door, I saw 3 figures through the glass. The people my homeroom teacher wanted me to find were all there. Just as I was about to open the door, Liu Ruyan's icy voice came from inside. Repeat what you just said. To her. Yiteng Cheng looked gently at Shen Bingning and spoke in a soft, refined manner. I just exposed to Ruyan what kind of person her adopted brother, Shi Hao, really is. She did not believe me. She said she has spent every day with Shi Hao for years and knows his character best. So I had no choice but to ask you to testify. Shen Bingning frowned and asked impatiently, testify to? Yiteng Cheng's expression turned somewhat sorrowful. She slowly said, Shen Bingning, have you mistaken Shi Hao for someone else? She opened her palm. A necklace woven from red cord lay there. Shen Bingning's expression changed. How did you get that? Shen Bingning reached for the necklace, but Yiteng Cheng swiftly pulled it away. With furrowed brows, she spoke with absolute conviction. Because after I protected you at the orphanage, you gave this to me yourself, did you not? Back at the orphanage, Liu Hao led the others in bullying the children. I was their favorite target. They hit me on the head and stole my food. They tied me to a tree and played trainer on me. But then one day, you came. They turned their bullying on you instead. They threw rocks at you. I stepped forward and protected you. You only stayed at the orphanage for 3 days. When you left, you gave me this necklace. Shen Bingning stared motionlessly at Yiteng Cheng. Her expression was strange. Liu Ruyan lost patience. She cursed under her breath. Why the hell am I wasting my time with you? With a dark expression, she turned to leave. Yiteng Cheng panicked. She reached out and grabbed her. Ruyan, the witnesses and evidence are right here. How can you still refuse to believe it? Your brother is the bully. Liu Ruyan flung Yiteng Cheng away as if shocked. She shouted, what kind of person that idiot Liu Hao is none of your business to tell me. Who the hell do you think you are? Frightened, Yiteng Cheng pulled her hand back. She said shakily, I just did not want you to be kept in the dark. She has been jealous of me since childhood. When I saw her again, I did not want to expose her, but you have seen it yourselves. She has been targeting me all along. That is why I decided to reveal the truth. Ruyan, when your parents brought you to the orphanage back then, I wanted to expose her. I wanted to stop your family from adopting her. But I was too afraid then, so I backed down. Now, I will not let her hurt anyone else. I have a duty to step forward. I am going to throw up. After Yiteng Cheng finished her heartfelt speech, Liu Ruyan sneered. What a performance. Now get lost. After saying that, she strode toward the door. But Shen Bingning called after her. Wait, do you not want to know the truth? Liu Ruyan stopped short. I am tired of listening already. Before Shen Bingning could continue, I pushed the door open and walked in. Yiteng Cheng, what brand of trash bag are you? You can fit a whole Boeing in there. What agency signed you? You are one hell of an actress. Which sewer was left uncovered? So, you could crawl out again? Did you rub laxative on your lips every time you open your mouth? You spew crap. I fired off the entire tirade in one breath. Yiteng Cheng backed away step by frightened step. Do not let her come near me. I am scared. Naturally, no one paid her any attention. Liu Ruyan darted straight to my side. Pouting, Shen Bingning came over and said resentfully, Hey, how did the necklace I gave you end up with her? When Yiteng Cheng twisted the truth just now, I remembered everything. Back then, I protected a little girl from Yiteng Cheng. Her mother had abandoned her at the orphanage. But the little girl's mother soon regretted it. She returned and took her away. Before she left, she gave me a necklace. Her name was engraved on it. The next day, Yiteng Cheng stole that necklace. Back at the orphanage, Yiteng Cheng ruled the place. She made every child obey her and become her lackeys. Anyone who dared resist, she would lead the others in bullying. Because I was withdrawn and defiant, I was always her main target. Everything Yiteng Cheng just described was what she did to me. I sneered, jerking my chin toward Yiteng Cheng. Ask her. Something that should have belonged to me. How did it end up in her hands? Yiteng Cheng shook her head, trembling. Her voice was shrill. It is mine. It proves I protected Shen Bingning. With that, she suddenly lunged at Shen Bingning. Her eyes were red as she gripped Shen Bingning's arm tightly. Shen Bingning, you gave this to me yourself. Look carefully. Your name is engraved on it. It cannot be fake. Shen Bingning pried her hand away and took back the necklace. Her voice was icy. The necklace is real, but you are a fake, and a fake is all you will ever be. I have forgotten many things. I cannot even remember who bullied me, but that little boy who desperately protected me. I would recognize his face until the day I die. I found out long ago that the Liu family adopted him. I transferred here for him. I stared at Shen Bingning, slightly stunned. No wonder, the moment she saw me, she started sending me obvious flirt signals. I had long forgotten what the little girl I protected back then looked like. Yet she had kept my face, perfectly preserved in her heart all these years. But I could not return such passionate feelings. Yiteng Cheng staggered back several steps and collapsed into a chair. Her gaze went blank as she kept repeating, "This is not how it was supposed to be. I saw it in my dreams. I am the male lead. They should all love me. I was the only one who understood what she meant." No one in the comments sympathized with Yiteng Cheng anymore. Oh my God, she was the bully. She got what she deserved. She could have lived a real rich heir's life, but she chose to bully people. Bullies do not deserve it. The heroine just scored major points. Good thing she remembered the face of her first love. Otherwise, that bully might have turned the truth upside down. The villainess really loves him. From beginning to end. She has always stood by that random extra. Stop arguing. Put the two girls on a rotation. What nonsense are these comments saying? I coughed twice and walked out of the lab. Liu Ruyan followed behind me and made a phone call. I knew. Soon, I would not be seeing Ito Makoto at school anymore. On the way back to class, I decided to make things clear with Shen Bingning. So I found an excuse to send Liu Ruyan away first. She was somewhat unwilling, and even threatened Shen Bingning with her eyes before leaving. After holding it in for ages, I finally said, "Shen Bingning, I am truly happy that you remembered me all this time. I really am." But the rest caught in my throat. I did not know how to say it, but Shen Bingning smiled and smoothly finished for me. "But I came too late. There is no room for me between you two, right?" I froze briefly and instinctively protested. "What? No. There is nothing between us." Shen Bingning gave a soft laugh and placed her hand on my cheek. "How? You are still the same as when you were little. You are not honest with yourself." With that, she waved at me and turned to head back to class. When I followed her inside, Liu Ruyan was sitting there with a tense expression, her brows tightly furrowed. Only when she saw me did her expression soften. The moment I sat down, she leaned over and whispered, "What did you talk about? Are you two about to spark something?" Shen Bingning's words immediately came back to me, and I suddenly felt irritated. I raised a hand and pushed her head away, then snapped, "What can I do? I am not like you, shamelessly forcing the flirting every day." Liu Ruyan was instantly speechless. Her ears turned scarlet. After a long pause, she gritted her teeth and said, "Liu Hao, your mouth is vicious. Fix it." I replied with a grin, "You have such a good temper. Just put up with it." After the college entrance exam celebration ended, I had a few drinks with my classmates and made it home feeling tipsy. My adoptive parents were away on business. Only a sliver of light shone from Liu Ruyan's room. The sound of running water came from inside. The comments chattered before my eyes. "Get in there, Emperor Shi Hao. Hurry up and check her out. If she does not pass, return her. The heroine has not gone far yet. You kept saying the villainess was flat-chested. If she really is flat-chested, what are you going to do then?" "See, I told you." I said putting the villainess and the heroine on a schedule would have solved everything. Riding on my liquid courage, I climbed the stairs and slipped into Liu Ruyan's room. I kept telling myself, I am drunk. Whatever happens cannot be blamed on me. Step by step, I approached the bathroom, my heart in my throat. The moment I opened the bathroom door, steam clouded my vision. But before I could see clearly, everything went dark. The light had been turned off. Just one finger sent my whole body tumbling onto the bed. Hot breath brushed my neck. A teasing voice sounded above me. Do not tell me. You walked into the wrong room. My head was spinning. I could not think at all. I could only instinctively argue back. I did not. I came to your room on purpose. Oh, Liu Ruyan said delightedly. Then you came into my room. But surely not to see me, right? I argued again. Who says? I came here to see you. Liu Ruyan paused, deliberately drawing out her tone. Then you probably do not want to do anything with me, do you? I declared without hesitation. How could that be? I want to do everything with you. The room suddenly fell silent. A few seconds later, all I heard was Liu Ruyan exhale deeply. You said that yourself. Student Liu Hao. My eyes were wide open, staring nervously at the dark ceiling. Just as I was about to turn the tables, the overhead lights suddenly came on. My adoptive parents, carrying a cake, squeezed into Liu Ruyan's room. Congratulations, darlings. Your college entrance exams are over. Their voices stopped abruptly. I sprang right off Liu Ruyan's bed. My foggy mind instantly cleared. Liu Ruyan wore silk pajamas, lying on her side on the bed, in an incredibly seductive pose, looking at my stunned adoptive parents. I stammered, trying to explain. Dad, Mom. My adoptive mother rushed straight toward me. Oh my God, son. You must have finally gone blind. You can actually fall for Liu Ruyan. Mom is overjoyed. I was always worried you two would go your separate ways, and Liu Ruyan would go back to being her old self. But now, everything is perfect. My biggest worry is finally gone. Honey, hurry and bring the children's gifts. My adoptive father immediately produced documents from behind his back. They were to funds worth 1 billion yuan each. We promised to give these to you when you became adults. Now that your college entrance exams are over, you can freely choose the life you want. My adoptive parents warmly hugged me, and each planted a kiss on my face. Then they dragged each other out of the bedroom. Before closing the door, my adoptive mother winked at us and said, We are leaving. We will be back in 3 days. Oh, and I gave the household staff time off too. The bedroom door clicked shut. The world fell instantly quiet. Before I could recover, Liu Ruyan's ghostly voice rose behind me. Go on, Shorty Liu.